Welcome to Study Session 4, Theoretical Perspective to Motivation. Introduction. Come to think of it, from a human behavior perspective, very few concepts are more critical than the dynamics of motivation. Grasping what moves individuals towards efficiency and fulfillment is at the core of any counselor's responsibility. Motivation in the school setting and the workplace is primarily concerned with improving the intensity and duration of your focus, often through pursuing positive incentives and avoiding negative ones. This particular element in human behavior is largely dependent upon psychology. You as an individual must direct your attention towards a task, generate the necessary effort to achieve it, and persist in working towards this goal despite potential external distractions. In this study session, you will learn about the various theories that have attempted to unveil the factors that create effective human motivation and that are divided into one of two broad categories, such as transpersonal spiritual perspective and social cognitive perspective. Learning outcomes. At the end of this study session, you should be able to 1. Discuss transpersonal spiritual perspective. 2. Explain the social cognitive perspective. Transpersonal or spiritual perspective. Most of the transpersonal or spiritual theories deal with the meaningfulness of our lives or ultimate meanings. Abraham Maslow, 1954, has also been influential in this approach to motivation. Other influential scholars include Gordon Allport, 1955, Viktor Frankl, 1998, William James, 1997, Carl Jung, 1953, Ken Wilber, 1998. 1. Maslow's need hierarchy. This humanistic perspective is a blend of biological and social needs and is a sweeping overview of human motivation. Because Maslow believed that all needs vary in strength, he arranged them in a pyramid form to indicate which have more strength. The most basic needs, like shelter and food, are vital to daily survival and are at the bottom, while needs that are less important to staying alive are higher on the pyramid. The need hierarchy may be defined as a systematic arrangement of needs according to priority, which assumes that basic needs, primary needs, must be met before less basic needs, that is secondary needs, are aroused. The Maslow's pyramid is shown. A. Physiological. These include the need for food, water, and other vital components of life. If these needs are not met, the organism cannot survive. Thus, these are the most basic and important. B. Safety and security. These needs refer more to the long-term survival than day-to-day needs. Humans tend to seek out order and have a desire to live in a world that is not filled with chaos and danger. As a result, they seek out stable lives with careers, homes, insurance, and so on. C. Belongingness and love. After obtaining a safe environment to live and establishing some long-term plans, people seek out love and affection from family members, friends, and lovers. D. Esteem. At this level, people become concerned with self-esteem, which may be based on achievements that they earn, recognition from others for jobs they do, and so on. E. Cognitive. Needs at this level are based on acquiring knowledge and understanding of the world, people, behavior, and so on. If you are in college to learn, not simply to get a degree, then you are attempting to fulfill your cognitive needs. F. Aesthetic. Aesthetic needs include beauty and order in life. Getting your life in order may provide a sense of comfort that people often lack. In addition, spending time finding and observing beauty in the world becomes an option and a desire, as people do not have to struggle or fight to stay alive. G. Self-actualization. This is the highest and most difficult level to reach. In fact, according to Maslow, very few people actually reach this level. Self-actualization is the need to fulfill one's own potential. As Maslow stated, what a man can be, he must be. Like Maslow, Herzberg believed that people had higher and lower levels of needs. Unlike Maslow, who had 5 levels of needs, Herzberg has divided human needs into 2 categories: hygiene factors and motivating factors. Hygiene factors: environmental factors such as salary, interpersonal relationships, working conditions, style of leadership and types of supervision, security, type of work, working hours, status. Hygiene factors are so called because they are seen to work like preventive medicine. They stop you from getting sick but do not really do anything to make you the healthiest that you can be or better than you were. In a management context, this means that hygiene factors don't motivate people to do their very best, but they are needed to stop people from becoming dissatisfied with their jobs. Motivating factors: factors within a job which allow for such things as achievement, responsibility, recognition, advancement, and challenge. Herzberg suggests that these factors are the ones which encourage people to strive to do well, in other words, to motivate them to do their best. Herzberg believed that these 2 levels of needs were equally important for job satisfaction. However, they work in different ways. If the lower needs are inadequate, workers will quickly become dissatisfied. However, as these needs are satisfied, trying to motivate staff by just adding more hygiene factors such as wages or work hours is an inefficient and short-term solution. A better way would be to appeal to their higher level needs by giving them more responsibility or giving them greater scope for advancement. In this way, the individual goals are satisfied as well as those of the organization. Hedonism theory. Jeremy Bentham endorsed both sorts of hedonism in the ringing passage that opens his An Introduction to the Principles of Morals and Legislation. Nature has placed mankind under the governance of 2 sovereign masters, pain and pleasure. It is for them alone to point out what we ought to do as well as to determine what we shall do. Bentham, 1789. Other major contributors to debate about hedonism include Plato, Aristotle, Mill, Moore, Sidgwick, Ross, and Broad. The discussion below nevertheless proceeds analytically rather than historically, discussing each main form of hedonism in turn. Pleasure will here be understood broadly to include all pleasant feelings or experience such as elation, ecstasy, delight, joy, enjoyment. Pain will be taken to include all unpleasant feeling or experience: aches, throbs, irritations, anxiety, anguish, chagrin, discomfort, despair, grief, depression, guilt, and remorse. Ordinary language must be stretched to accommodate these broad usages. Pleasure and pain themselves might be states of affairs, things, events, or properties. Bentham claims that pain and pleasure determine what we do. This makes him a hedonist about the determination of an action. The more modest view is that pleasure and pain determine our motivation to act, and this will instead be the focus below. Hedonism is divided into 2, namely motivational hedonism, normative hedonism. Motivational hedonism is construed as the egoistic claim that one is motivated by one's own pleasure or pain, and as including the claim that one is motivated for pleasure and against pain. Being motivated for pleasure and against pain will be construed in productivist terms as a matter of producing pleasure or reducing pain rather than, for example, expressing these things. Now consider this argument for motivational hedonism. We sometimes are motivated to maximize our balance of pleasure over pain. Every case can be explained in these terms, and the more unified the explanation, the better. Hence, motivational hedonism is true. One response to this argument is that motivational hedonism lacks other explanatory virtues. Aspects of this issue are revisited below. Any confirmed case of an individual being motivated for something other than pleasure or pain will refute motivational hedonism. Here are some standard candidates. The soldier with no belief in the afterlife who opts for a painful death for himself to save his comrades. The parent motivated to give her or his child a good start in life. The worker motivated to kick a stone just for the hell of it. They show that hedonist rival conjectures can generally be made even when humans seem clearly to be motivated by other and more diverse things, but they do not show that the hedonist reinterpretations are more plausible ones. One can infer from here that Boko Haram members may be driven by motivational hedonism, belief of fighting just causes for God. Normative hedonism. Normative hedonism is a claim that only pleasure has value and only pain has this value. Non-instrumentality, that is, independently of the value of anything they might cause or prevent. On this view, our friendships, actions and achievements, our states of understanding, insight and character have only instrumental worth through the pleasure they cause or the pain they diminish. Normative hedonism can take the non-egoistic form that was used to state it above, or instead the egoistic form that all and only one's own pleasure has value for oneself. Many other variants are also possible. Social cognitive perspective. Social cognition theory proposes reciprocal determination as a primary factor in both learning and motivation. In this view, the environment, an individual's behavior, and the individual's characteristics, for example knowledge, emotions, and cognitive development, both influence and are influenced by each other. Bandura, 1986 and 1997, highlights self-efficacy, the belief that a particular action is possible and that the individual can accomplish it, and self-regulation, the establishment of goals, the development of a plan to attain those goals, the commitment to implement that plan, the actual implementation of the plan, and subsequent actions or reflection and modification or redirection. Social learning theory suggests that modeling, imitating others, and various learning, watching others have consequences applied to their behavior, are important motivators of behavior. Summary of study session. In this study session, you have learned that 1. Need hierarchy as a systematic arrangement of needs according to priority, which assumes that basic needs, that is primary needs, must be met before less basic needs, that is secondary needs, are aroused. 2. Hygiene factors. Environmental factors such as salary, interpersonal relationships, working conditions, style of leadership and types of supervision, security, type of work, working hours, status. 3. The Herzberg two-factor theory explained that two factors, hygiene factors and motivating factors, are very vital to people's desire to behave in a certain way. Hygiene factors are so called because they are seen to work like preventive medicine. 4. The hedonism theory stated that only pleasure or pain motivates us. It is the most significant form of psychological hedonism. Normative hedonism is the claim that all and only pleasure has worth or value, and all and only pain has this value. 5. Social cognition theory proposes reciprocal determination as a primary factor in both learning and motivation. In this view, the environment, an individual's behavior, and the individual's characteristics both influence and are influenced by each other. This is the end of study session 4. Thanks for listening.